Today I am in Stoke Row, which is a village in the Chilterns, an area of outstanding natural beauty. That is in fact its tagline, Chilterns, an area of outstanding natural beauty. Well, why am I here? A few days ago my good friend Stuart said to me, you've got to come down here. There's a link to India in this small village, and I thought, well, Stoke Row being a small village in the Chilterns, an area of outstanding natural beauty, what link could it possibly have? And so after doing some research, not looking at Wikipedia, my research involves hours and hours of hard labour with ancient manuscripts before coming to a conclusion. And there's a well here that's linked to His Highness the Maharaja of Benares. 1864's dated the canopy that I can see just up there, and the actual ironwork here that would have drawn the water out says Wilder, Wallingford, which is a town, 1863. So the canopy was put on a year later. Just to show you around the canopy and the well. Why would a Maharaja of Benares build a well here? Well, the story behind it goes that Edward Reade, who was the local squire, he in fact built a well in the village of Azamgarh, which is now a city in Uttar Pradesh, not too far from Benares. It's probably halfway between Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh and Patna in Bihar, to give you a bit more of an idea, for those of you that want to go and look at Google Maps now. And so Edward Reade built a well for the people there because they were lacking water. Stoke Row in fact suffered from something similar, and so the Maharaja of Benares, being a good friend of Edward Reade's, returned the favour and built this well here. I think it's quite fascinating just to look at the actual structure of it, how it's been maintained and kept and looked after. I think is a credit to the local parish. What else is associated with it is the actual cottage that was owned, or this is where the well keeper stayed actually, and because it's privately owned now I can't go into it, but this gives you a bit more of an idea into how it looks, and I can't really go too much further here. I'll try and get to the other side when it's possible, but there's a sign here that says the Maharaja's Well. The origin of the well lay in the friendship between East India Company official and local squire Edward Anderton Reade and the Maharaja of Benares, Ishri Prasad. So Ishri Prasad is this chap here, and Edward Anderton Reade is this chap here. And so the Maharaja was much intrigued by Reade's tales of the miserable conditions of the poor back in the Chilterns. Reade described the impact of the limited access to clean water on the lives of villagers in his Oxford parish, water retained in dirty ponds and deserted clay pits, and how in the dry season the water used for cooking in one cottage was passed onto the like office in others. Urchins cruelly thumped for furtive quenchings of thirst, and washing days indefinitely postponed. So basically the Maharaja returned the favour because Stoke Row was suffering from a lack of clean water, and he gifted this. So in 1863 this well was built here. 1864 the canopy was gifted, which you can see at the top. It has the dates on there as well. So I've got to thank my friend Stuart, who's pointed me to this direction, and just to show you the area and why this is an area of outstanding natural beauty. The Chilterns in fact is quite a nice area, lots of villages around here, lots of countryside, lots of great scenery, but I just want to show you the cottage that exists alongside the well, because this is where this was also gifted by the Maharaja of Benares. So it's got here well cottage, it's private now. It's something that Harry Potter, something that Hagrid would live in. Yeah, I don't want to go too far into it, but it just gives you an idea. And the actual well itself, the actual path that leads up to it, I think it's quite nice. This in the summer, I think this will be a brilliant spot to come out to. It's probably quite busy as well in the summer, because this is a small village and it's just quite a unique attraction that exists here. But just leading up to the well itself, it's quite scenic around here, quite green. Even the canopy, I think the canopy is quite unique, and I've noticed that there's an elephant on top of the actual ironwork, just there. What a unique story. So Azamgarh itself was suffering from a lack of water. Edward Reade then built a well there. Stoke Row then in England was suffering from a lack of clean water, and the Maharaja of Benares returned the favour. I think that's very noble from both parties, and it's very unique. And in fact, this isn't the only one that's here, the only well. There's another well 3 miles further down the road, and I'm going to be making my way there. It's not raining today, it's quite sunny, but it's quite cold, so I can do with a walk. It's 3 miles down, and I want to see what this other well is like, so join me on this journey to find the second well. So just walking up to the well, and it's slightly different from the Stoke Row one in that it's less ornate than the Stoke Row one, but it's just as fascinating, and you can see the cast iron work that's been done here. It's done by the same company, Wilder of Wallingford. If I can try and get some of the writing that's on here, you've got presented by Raja Sir Dion Naran Singh, 1865. It was restored 1985. So this one dates back to 1865. Another one of these wells that's probably saved the lives of many, I guess. This not as ornate as the Stoke Row one. I think the Stoke Row one's probably had a lot of work done to it recently, but just as fascinating, and something different, I think, definitely to see and capture. Just get a bit more of the work. I can't go around it because there's trees, but as much as I can, I'll try and get. Definitely something different, something unique. I'm also near the church that's here as well. I just want to have a look inside it, because the cottage that's next to the well, the guy there, he's given me a bit of a description of what happened here during that time. He's lived in that cottage for 25 years, and so he knows a lot of history about these wells, and he's been telling me about a lot of the other wells that are here, and maybe I might find some more in my travels. I think there are many others that here that I have to find, but just looking at this old churchyard, I remember saying only a month and a half ago, when I was in the graveyard in Lahore, when I said I'm not a connoisseur of graves, and in that time I've gone to Brookwood Cemetery to find the grave of Michael O'Dwyer. I've seen the Tata mausoleums as well, and I'm in another graveyard now as well that was right next to the wells, and maybe I'm becoming a connoisseur of graves. I think a favourite pastime of those is bell ringing. Those that like to ring church bells, they're known as ringers. So bell ringing might be the next hobby that I take up. Who knows? Who knows if that's the next thing? But just looking around, it's quite, you know what, normally I get freaked out by graveyards, especially when you're on your own. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Look, all you can see is countryside around me, and it's there's no one here. There's no one here. Just me walking around a graveyard. I think I better get out of here actually. Yeah, not sure what else there is to see here, but I think I might make my escape from the graves. As I was going to make my escape, I noticed something. This is weird, in fact, because it was just as I was passing, and I don't want to step on someone's remains now, but I've actually found the grave of Edward Anderton Reade, Esquire. Born 15th March 1807, does that say? Died 12th of February 1886. In memory of Edward Anderton Reade, Esquire. Late, Heics, whatever that means. Born 15th of March 1807, died 12th of February 1886. Wow. In memory of Edward Reade. So Edward Reade was the person who I've been speaking about that made the wells. He dug the wells. I'm not sure if he personally dug them, but maybe financed the wells and orchestrated that. And he's buried here, which is quite different. I just came here to walk around, and this is where he's buried. That is bizarre. I wasn't going to come here, but I just saw those letters. The letters actually stand out quite a lot as well, because a lot of these, you can have a look, the letters don't stand out. I can't see, and even that, I'd have to go close to it to see what it says. But it's definitely freakish, I think. Divine intervention, maybe. Maybe God is saying something. Look at this, something that would be memorable to people in India. Let me see if it works. No, it doesn't work. Water doesn't come out from there. So yeah, definitely something different. I'm gonna see if I can get into the church. Let's see if that's it does say open, so I'm gonna see if I can try and get in. Say open on me. The lights are off actually. Turn the lights on here. Don't think the lights are coming on. Wow, this is a bit unique as well. Maybe I am gate crashing. No, I'm not sure what the lights are, but I'll try and get some footage in here. This is the church where Edward Anderton Reade is buried. What a story. I came here just hoping to get footage of a couple of wells, and I've managed to find his grave as well. I only just popped in just to have a look. I thought I'd have a look. It's a church and a graveyard, since I've visited a few of these graveyards now. Might become a hobby of mine, I think. Visiting graveyards. I'll close this up, make sure I close this. Whoa, that is definitely different. Definitely something unique. So the person who financed it or helped build those in Azamgarh, I've managed to find his grave as well, where he's buried. Just one final look at the well. This is the well. It's actually closed up now, but the guy who lives in the house next door said that he's opened this up before and had a look down there, and it's still got water there. And he said if you want to pop back some other time, he will show me it open. So definitely something. Just looking at the countryside here, this is exactly where I am. There's nothing here. It's just open. Even that church, you know, it's open. There's nothing there. So I've gone in during the daytime. I think at night time it might be a bit freaky, but I think the whole area I think is actually quite fantastic. And he told me that the Reade family are no longer around. The last Reade, I think he died in the early 2000s. This is what the Maharajas of Benares provided. So good on them. Good on Edward Anderton Reade as well. And a nice little story to finish off with there. So it's goodbye from the Chilterns, an area of outstanding natural beauty.